mighty Helacious. And the mighty Helen. Woohoo! Yeah, just hold on a little while. Alright, we're getting ready for passage to the Azores. And I decided I needed to make a bunch of food. Helen's already made a bunch of food, and we have a freezer full of food and a boat full of food, probably 1,000 pounds of food. But I decided that I was going to try out the new bolognese recipe from the New York Times. And so 3 hours of simmering, that's a bit of an issue. In the meantime, I think I've killed most of the flies. There have been just a jillion flies here at Jolly Harbour, and we've remained pretty sanguine about them. No one has gone screaming overboard. So we're hoping to leave in a day. Today's Wednesday, and we're hoping to leave on Friday, according to the grib files I've been studying all day. So, cool. Where are we going, Helen?
Oh, let's go to the Azores.
Let's go to the Azores today.
Get out of this hot, sticky weather. I'm over it.
Yeah. It has gotten muggy and still here in Jolly Harbour, Antigua. And partly we're in this lagoon on a mooring, and we've got the boat all fixed up here. Dinghy on deck, code 0 up, anchor removed, stowed down in the locker. We are ready for sea, I think. So let's get going. And we're off.
Finally, 8 o'clock.
Steamy morning.
8 o'clock.
Very little wind.
Sunday morning.
Jolly Harbour's really thinning out. Everybody's heading south or north. So we've got about, I predict 18 days, but it might take 20 days.
Yeah, I say 20.
Helen says 20, so we'll...
It was 17 last time, but we had a fast run.
Yeah, that was a pretty fast run. We shall see.
Get there when we get there.
We'll check in frequently. There's our friend Dana on Pathfinder. Nice ML54. We've been hanging out with him for quite a while here, learning lots of cool tricks and teaching a few of our own. So they're heading to Bermuda and then up to Maine, where he lives. We met some great folks down here in Caribbean this summer, or this winter. It feels like summer. So. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think we're ready. We're ship shape. Hey, Bill. Nice to meet you. Thank you. You too. We may see you in Bermuda. The winds are weird, so y'all have a great trip.
Yeah, you too. We'll be watching.
Yeah, stay in touch.
Yes.
Well, over there is Bermuda, Below Bay, where the beautiful pink sand beach is. About 6-7 miles away, I guess. And a little rainbow, and we can see our friends on Frog's Leap. They're kind of heading the same direction we are. And imagine they'll speed away from us once the wind picks up, but we've held our own against them today. And we saw a whale earlier. It was very cool. Some still photos of him. Or her. Yeah, we're had a slow patch there. We motor sailed and now we're sailing again. Had the code 0 up, but this little squall over here, we decided to swap it for the Jenny.
We saw a whale. I don't know what kind of whale it was. Maybe a blue whale?
No, it wasn't a blue whale.
It was a big whale.
It was pretty
We were in
big.
about 100 feet of water, but ahead there was really deep water, so I think it was kind of coming up with a nutrient upwelling. Anyway.
Pretty afternoon. Just about to leave the north tip of Barbuda.
Are we in deep water yet?
Not quite, 138 feet, then it drops off to thousands of feet over the next few miles. Sunset on day one. Pretty good day. Hadn't made a whole lot of miles yet. Made about 60 so far. Maybe we'll make 120 over a 24-hour period. Maybe a little more. Right on schedule. At least we have a plan, and we're kind of sticking to it. Going northwest for a few days, try to find a better wind to get across the big ridge. So not a bad first day out. Getting used to things again. Everything's working pretty well. First mate's happy.
Yeah, having dinner cooked for me.
Yeah, well, having dinner prepped, I guess. Huh?
Yeah.
Make some Thai green curry or red curry. Is it red curry?
It's green.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Check in later. Well, it's day 2, and had an okay night last night for first night out, and then woke up this morning to a radar alarm saying that it was going to shut itself off. So I don't know what's wrong with the radar. Anyway, so had a pretty good night overall. Had a little bit of sleep and not too hot. And no big squalls, a little bit of rain. But and this morning, same old thing. Seas are a bit choppy, but I swear after 4 or 5 days of this, you'd be like, oh, these are calm seas. So we're just still getting our sea legs. And fixed a good breakfast this morning, mushrooms and poached egg on toast. Managed to get that down. And coffee and tea, and fixed the code 0 back into the dinghy for storage, and checked the weather, which is still holding, going north about another 300 miles, and then we'll start arcing around to the northeast, around the top of a high. That's the plan, and that's been the plan for 5 or 6 days now. So looking okay. Hopefully it'll all just hold and there won't be some Labrador bomb coming down on us. That's it for now. Morning of day 3, and wind has died and the seas have calmed down. We're still making 5 to 6 knots. Got the code 0 up, the full main back, so headed about as close to the wind as we can with the code 0, which is about 60 degrees apparent. Had a pretty restful night, and yeah, all is well. Just chilling out, reading, eating toast, and had a couple of days apparently of winds like this, so pretty easy right now. Might do some fishing later on after I have my after lunch nap. Big blue. This is our intended route shown on Luck Grib, L-U-C-K, Grib, which is a isochronal weather routing software, and really like it. It more detail and more variability and options and customization than Predict Wind. So this is where we are now. We started down here. Out doing her sunset photos. Nice cloud structure. Wind's picked up a little bit. Nice evening. Not as rough as last night for sure. And trying to cook some sausages on the grill. First times I think I've ever grilled underway. It's that calm out here, so making about 6 knots toward our destination-ish, going a little east of north now. Chef at sea.
Yeah. Be amazing if we don't lose at least one.
They're not rolling around. So.
Okay, that's good. What do you think you've got?
I don't know. Might be a tuna. Might be a mahi.
Ooh.
Looks like a little mahi.
It looks like a little mahi, yes. Okay, well, I'll put the gumbo back in the freezer then.
Well, let's get him on board.
What else do you need? I got the knife out.
Let's kind of turn this up and then we'll just a little bit. We gotta be careful, there's lots of hooks.
Yep. Well, will they all slide down if you hold the
baby.
Good size.
It's good.
Good eating.
Good eating. He's worn out.
Let me get this out of the way, please.
Look at that. He had that in his mouth.
Oh, what's that?
That's some kind of puffer fish.
Oh. Hey, it's caught our second mahi of the day. The colour's gone a bit.
Look how blue he is now.
But
He was yellow. Beautiful creature. Thank you, Neptune. Going to turn the water maker off. Back here in the utility room. First thing we do. Oh, okay. Total dissolved solid, still 205. That's good. Now I'm going to switch it to overboard, no longer going in the tanks. And then we will crank down the high pressure pump valve here. This is the flow rate here going down, and then this is the pressure. So we want to just ease this down. That's running on the generator, the big pump, which is this guy down here. Okay, so once that's down, all the way off, turn both pumps off. Yes. And Helen turns the generator off. Okay. And now we're going to flush it. But first we'll cut off these valves. This is a through hole here. And then this puts fresh water in. So that's running fresh, and then we'll turn the boost pump back on. I'll run that for 2 minutes. And that flushes these pre-filters and these high pressure, the RO reverse osmosis filters, membranes they call them. They're 40 inches long, 2 of them. So we can make about 36 gallons an hour, sometimes 40, if the water is not quite as saline and if it's warm. Colder the water is, the less we make. So Helen has cleaned off the sea strainer, because that gets little bits of stuff in it. One time we had an octopus in there. Little tiny octopus, about as big as my little fingernail. But if you don't clean that out, the stuff sits in there and produces hydrogen sulfide gas, and it smells like rotten eggs after about 2 days, and the decaying biological material. So that's we learned that the hard way, and that's how you make water. Well, that's how you shut the water maker down. So we made about probably 45 gallons in that hour and 10-minute run, and charged the batteries at the same time. So we're good for another 3 or 4 days. Oh, the excitement. Passage making. Scrambled egg. on toast with bacon. You want poached? A perennial debate between the sexes. Poached or scrambled?
Poached.
Really?
Yeah.
With bacon?
Alright.
Yeah, poached is fine. I'm kidding. I just like you bending over. There you go. What you making, Helen?
Making some banana bread. We've got some really squishy bananas.
Really juicy bananas.
Yeah, so don't want to waste them. And it's fairly smooth sailing today.
Use the
A
Omnia
little
oven.
leany, but not too jerky.
Well, right, as soon as you started cooking,
Yeah,
the wind picked up,
wind picked up,
and we put the big sail out.
we'll go ahead anyway. So, just getting everything ready so I can mix it all. Put my powdered eggs.
Over easy.
Yeah. So, use those. 2 eggs, 4 tablespoons. So you can put that in there.
Omnia has a couple of different silicone liners, which work really well. You can make chicken pie.
Watch our video.
See our video. Link here.
Okay, this is pretty boring.
47 views. Looks good. Smells good. Bet it'll taste good too. Just don't put your hand over that center thing. That's like a volcano. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna slide to one side. Just turn it in a few minutes. I just don't trust that damn gimbal.
We'll see. Oh, timer.
Timer.
And then I need
Okay.
to turn it down low once it gets up to.
Wow, check this out. Looks beautiful. Well done. We will eat that. We'll eat it up.
Eat it all out.
Well, I believe we're at the end of this run of sailing. A little bit early for it to quit, but we're still moving. 3 knots. Maybe we'll give it another 10 or 15 minutes. And then we're going to get in this high. Look at this. There is. We'll get in this high. We are in this high. Oh, there's some clouds way over there about 50 miles away. And that is it. There is nothing else around. Absolute dome. Seas. Mystery here. We're trying to figure out, we've got a water leak, freshwater leak, and we discovered because of the new bilge pump alarms, right?
Yeah.
Showing the main bilge sump here had water in it, and it was fresh water, and there was probably, I don't know, 8 gallons in it, and so there's a trickle of water we can see over here on the side, coming in here. It's hard to explain, and so we're trying to isolate the pump and figure out which water line is leaking. And at the same time, the sensor on this 60-gallon freshwater tank is not working correctly, and we were concerned that there wasn't any water in there, and somehow it had all leaked away, but that has got water in it. And then at the same time, our foot pump by the galley sink, which was working last week, is not working now. So I don't know what's going on, but we're going to find the solution to the mystery. Is it cold?
No, it feels lovely.
19,000 feet deep, 760 miles from Antigua.
It's so clear.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It goes down all the way.
Oh my gosh, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh.
All right, here I come.
Okay.
We've stopped out here in the middle of the ocean, and 1.4 knots of wind, about 760 miles northeast of Antigua, on our way to the Azores, and we decided to stop for a swim. We did this 3 years ago, and it's one of those things that stuck with us, so let's do it again. The water is so clear, shimmering. It's an amazing planet. All this water. So much water. What's funny is we've been in kind of a impromptu flotilla. There's about 4 boats, all headed the same way, presumably all headed to the Azores, and all going about the same speed. And 2 of them have stopped with us, or at the same time. I think we all had the same idea about the same time. This is too great to ignore. Also give us a chance to check things out, check the engine, and just chill out a couple of minutes. position. About 28 north by 61 west. Way out there. Way out in the Atlantic. Alan's doing a little cleanup. Getting the dead fish off the deck. Oh, yummy. Dinner!
Oh, another one.
Oh, hey. Dried fish. Dried fish. Hold it back a little bit.
Yummy.
So the problem with going downwind in light wind with a following sea, which is usually what the sea state is when you're going downwind, the waves usually line up with the wind, is keeping that thing filled. And you've got the main here, which I'm loath to take the main down at sea, because then that means we have to turn into the wind to raise it. But you get this, what do you call it? Luffing? I guess it's just luffing of the Code Zero. So what we did was we triple reefed the main to try to reduce its size, and have pulled it way over to windward to try to minimize the wind shadow it's casting, and that's working okay up to an apparent wind angle of about 150, and beyond that it's a no-go. The true wind right now is about 10, so maybe 10 to 12, so there's just not much wind behind us. So that's okay. The wind is shifting right now to the southwest, and we're trying to go northeast. At a certain point, if it keeps shifting, we'll jibe and be on a port tack and go. We can go due north. We don't want to go to the west at this point. But running due north for 6 or 8 or 10 hours would be fine, and then we'll turn back to the northeast once the wind shifts back to the south. It's doing a little funniness as this cold front moves down on us. So anyway, that's looking like the wind has shifted a little more, so I'm going to go and steer us a little more to the right, try to keep the sail filled. And then, I could drop the main. I just, this is kind of a practice. Putting the main back up in this sea state would not be a problem. But, yeah, look at that. And putting the pole up, it's a lot of work. So you don't want to do that for just a few hours of sailing. All right, gotta go. I'm using the preventer in a slightly unconventional way. It's tied onto the back of the mast, and I'm running it down to this snatch block. Whoa! Rolly out here. There's a snatch block down here. And yeah, it's rubbing on the top of the Dodger here, but I think that's okay for now. we do this very long, I'll put a chafe guard on there. But it just keeps the boom from flopping around, which I think is really important, to not have the boom crashing back and forth, even a foot, which is about as tight as you can get it at this angle. So,
okay, we're getting ready to put the pole out. Going to be sailing wing on wing here for a few days, so it's worth the effort. Okay, so the pole's out and attached to the halyard, and Brian's extended it forward because it's a extendable pole, so he's made it longer. The sheet for the Genoas in the jaw, the green sheet, and then we have to rerun the sheet back through the blocks in a different way before we can pull everything out.
we're going to pull the Genoa out, and then we're going to roll in the code 0, and then get back on course. So a little more downwind. Okie doke. How's that? Pretty good. This is the best we can do in 11 knots of wind, downwind. So it's going to be a slow night. Pancakes at sea. Hold on to your food.
Lose your eggs.
Don't lose your eggs or tip your coffee.
Good.
Hungry. So this is our weather map routing software, and we're going along here kind of to the northeast, and right now we're at about 64, 7, actually course over ground it's about 70, and we're expecting a little cold front come through. Meant to be a weak cold front, but from friends of ours who are west and on their way to Bermuda said they just got a 40-knot squall, so that's always exciting. So we're doing some storm prep today, and take the code 0 down and kind of get the sails where we can reef them. And right now we're making 7.5, 8 knots.
Yeah, flying along.
So,
enjoying it now.
yeah, it's like the first time we've really
Yeah.
gone over
Moved, yeah.
6 knots
Yeah,
in
it's
days
been
and days. So, yep, that's what's happening. Got today's day 8. Got about 11 more days, and having a good time, having a fun passage. Ask me when the squalls are coming through if we're still having a fun passage. But yeah, all is well. Dolphins have come to visit. Looks like there's some babies with them. Of course, now that I've got the camera out, they've all disappeared. There's one. And in the meantime, we're waiting on our cold front to arrive. As always, difficult winds in front of a big front. Things get real calm and then they get real crazy. But it's awfully pretty. You know what they say, a miss is as good as a mile. He's about a mile away. Big bulk carrier. If I hadn't changed course, he would have had to. Well, it's morning of day 9, Monday, and looking at this big ship over here out in the middle of the ocean. We crossed the 1,000-mile mark yesterday coming from Antigua, so we're not quite halfway, but getting there. And last night was the first squalls we had, but there was a lot of lightning around, and most of it cloud to cloud, so a little bit of cloud to ground or cloud to water. And it all was to the south of us and starting to interact, I guess, that low down there with the cold front that's pushing in today. And we're expecting a wind shift. Well, the cold front has arrived a little bit earlier than we expected, but that's a good thing. We can get it over with. Some rain and a little bit of lightning, some 30-knot winds, and we've dumped the main, headed north, keep the wind aft of the beam. We're very carefully watching for the wind shift. That's Helen, carefully watching for the wind shift. Well, the wind finally arrived. We had this incredibly sludgy cold front coming down, apparently merging with a trough coming from the south, and they blended together and made a big old no-wind mess with lots of leftover seas. So that's what we did today, and I thought we had it all worked out. We had a nice jibe in the rain and good wind, and then it just went and just fell apart for the next 6-7 hours. But anyway, it's finally come back, and nice and pretty outside. The main and Genoa up, and we are sailing at about 30 degrees to the north-northeast. And forecast is still very uncertain after Wednesday. Today's Tuesday, and So we're consulting with our weather router, Chris, and see what he thinks. And pretty much just press on east. That's where the Azores lie. So 10 days at sea and 10 more to go. We're about halfway in terms of mileage and time. Pretty slow passage. And looking, there's probably going to be some more windless areas. So not going to set any speed records, that's for sure. At least we got some wind now. Hour by hour. We've turned on a rum line to Horta at last. 1,111 miles to go. It's easy to remember. High fashion girl making coffee. She's dressed from the top down to the fancy boots on the bottom. Finally in boots weather. That makes such a difference on the deck.
Yeah, on deck for sure.
Okay, gotta hold the coffee.
Hold me.
Hold you. It's an old-fashioned coffee method here. No batteries required. This is the current map of the North Atlantic, and there's a big strong eddy right here that we want to avoid. We're going to try to just go across this way and not go up here. That does get a nice boost right there, but my experience with trying to find currents to run with, it's been very poor. Seems like you can find the counter currents, but actually finding a current to give you a boost is, if you're depending on that, you're going to get frustrated because they move around. Just too hard to find. So that's what we're going to do. So this is like my back porch. Sitting here reading a book, looking out the back porch, or the front porch. But it's the back porch because we're going, that's out the back. Constantly changing scenery. Never gets boring. You would think it would get boring. But it doesn't. It's always fascinating. Sometimes it's frightening. Sometimes it's more exciting than others. Beautiful right now. Because we're going with the waves. They're not slapping us on the side. It's just so cool. We took the code 0 down, rolled it up, but it's still hoisted. And then we took the Genoa off the pole and moved it over to the port side here. The wind's coming across the starboard side. We're on a starboard tack. But there's squalls in the area this evening, and even though we're downwind, we got 35 knot squall and hit that code 0, it would probably blow it out. So we slowed down. I guess we lost about a knot and a quarter, which means overnight we'll lose 10 miles, which is not very much in this grand scheme of things, and the security and kind of knowledge that we've got everything rigged up properly for a little bit of weather. Makes us be better. We're in this for comfort, not speed. So now we're going to go make pizza and yeah, just enjoy the ride. Here comes our squall. Didn't take long to get here. Raining over there. It's starting to rain here. It's interesting. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, we totally did the right thing. Got a parent wind to 21 now. So putting this other smaller sail, a very good thing to do, because code 0 does not like more than 20. Really doesn't like more than 18 if you want it to last. Now we're snug as a bug on the side of our enclosure. Pizza's cooking down below.
Hey, I'm whale watching. Come join me.
Any luck?
No. Lucky you.
What's that?
Custom made sock?
4 months.
Oh, come on.
4 months per foot.
We bought the wool
You're
in.
at boat filming speed.
Actually, we bought the wool in Halifax last summer. Let's see.
Nice and soft.
Look at that. Custom fit.
Custom fit sock. Beautiful.
I've got to do the other one. Ready for another 6 months wait?
Water, dolphins. motor sailing, barely sailing, and trying to find some wind, trying to navigate towards the little green area on the weather map, and the hopes of getting a little bit of breeze. Been motoring about a day, and a little water leak again in the water pump, raw water pump. So worked on that, checked it, might not be leaking anymore, but who knows, intermittent. But yeah, it's pretty out here, nothing to see. Saw some dolphins this morning, and nothing all day. Trying to fish, and no bites, no whales, and cooking chicken for dinner on the grill because it's so calm. We will continue. We're about 760 miles from Horta, and we'll just keep doing what we're doing. Hopefully catch some wind. That's about it. Over and out. So we switched time to UTC, and we are now trying to go to bed in the daytime. Sunset's not till about 11 o'clock. So it's going to take a little getting used to. And the Azores are on UTC, or GMT as it used to be called, and they're 900 miles from the continent. So we're 650 miles from the Azores, so we're quite a ways west. So we just wanted to get on UTC because it makes it easier to download the weather on time, and that's where we're going to be. So we went ahead and just did it 4 hours in one big jump. So it's been a bit of a hassle today. The schedule's a little off. Meals are a little off. But, I think tomorrow it'll be back to normal. Pretty uneventful day. Cloudy all day, and now it's nice to see a little sunshine. A little sailing, a lot of motoring, and trying to keep our speed up so that we can arrive on Friday before the high pressure above north of the Azores causes east wind. So yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan, and we're sticking to it. Over and out. It's day 16, and we are 556 miles from Horta, and all we got to do is go from there to there. That'll take 4 days. So doing well, and the weather's looking good. Here's the weather, and we're here. Gotta go across a little tiny low, and then we're gonna pick up some nice southwest winds, and they increase a bit toward the end. This is a big low up here. As long as it's up there and not down here. And there we are, bing. So it looks pretty steady. The models are finally agreeing, and we just need to get there before all this stuff comes down. So should be possible. We will see. So this is the low up ahead. It's just a little thing, probably 20 miles across the windless center, and but you can distinctly see the edge of it here. So we're going to lose our wind shortly. And it's been a good run this morning, 7 knots at times. A little better than we expected, which is always nice. And the seas have stayed really mellow, so the wind just hadn't been blowing very long in this direction. So this is a map of the North Atlantic Ocean. It's called the North Atlantic Ocean Passage Chart. It's a Mercator projection, and so everything is a little skewed, and the lines are curved, latitude lines are curved. So this is where we started, here in Antigua on the 5th of May, and this is the line here of this year. The one above it is 3 years ago, 2021. Similar trajectory, very different trip. And so here's the Azores. And then in 2021 we went on up to Ireland and beyond. And they're going to do that again this year. But yeah, pretty cool. Well, we skirted the southern edge of that little low, and we're able to sail most of the day, all day, in really light wind, but it was at a good angle, so increased our apparent wind speed, and we were able to sail at 5 to 5.5 knots instead of motor, which is what we're doing now. The wind's starting to shift around, and we are definitely going through a little dead zone here. But both forecasts show southwest winds picking up in the morning. So the big question now is whether to take this sail down here, which is doing that. Because there's only 5 knots of wind. Incredibly calm seas. Day 17, Tuesday the, I don't even know, 20th, 21st. Kind of groggy start, motored all night. There was just no wind. Now the wind direction has come around to the southwest, which is where it's supposed to be, but there's just very little of it, 7 to 9 knots. All we need is about 11 or 12, and we are going 5.5 knots. But right now we're making about 4.5, which is fine. We're going toward our destination, and less than 500 miles to go. So it's a beautiful day, absolutely perfect, and perfect whale watching environment. And come on, whaleys, come on. Here you go. For this rain, finally caught up with us, and going to be with us for a while. It's a pretty big blob on the radar or on the infrared. and wash the decks off really good. And then the wind's going to pick up and shift around to the west and then to the northwest and drop. So it's going to be a challenging night, but I think we know what's going on and we've got a plan. You know, if it gets too crazy, we'll run off a little bit, but get the wind behind us more or less, so the apparent wind will be lower. And yeah, we're 260 miles from Horta. About 2 days. 2 good days. Pretty wild night. Gusts up to 30 and waves on the quarter building up to about 8 feet, and lots of rolling, but we were sailing fast, like 9 knots at some point. So the front has passed, and then this morning looking at the infrared satellite image, it has really picked up intensity after it passed us, so really glad that we weren't in the worst of it. So 157 miles to go, and we'll be there tomorrow in Horta. And we made 154 miles in the previous 24 hours, so it's looking good. Sailing at about 7 knots now, the wind shifting to the west, and we'll continue to do that all day. At a certain point we'll jibe over, and but we don't want to do that too soon, because then we'll be beam onto the waves. So, yeah, all right. So, take some pictures here. Day 19. It's a long time. Happy to get there. And a good time. Everything's good. It's the little things that make passage making better, like putting this bungee strap on our life jackets to keep them from swinging and clanging, because they've got all this metal on them. So that works great. And our super duper bamboo skewer cup holder device.
That is great.
We need some of that down on the
Galley.
on the galley. Maybe we should just drill a few holes in the galley top.
Oh, no. It's great here.
They would fill up with food, wouldn't they? I like drilling holes in the boat.
I know.
It's fun. Well, 100 miles to go to Horta, and we've done our jibe, and we're trying something different here. I've never had the sails on the same side this deep downwind with the Genoa poled out. Looks like it's pretty much working. It's not ideal, but the ideal scenario involves lots of work, which I am not going to do. Some birds wheeling. That's a sure sign of land. We've had them, they've been following the boat for a couple of days, actually. I don't know if it's the same birds. Probably. What else would you do if you were a bird? Gonna have a little squall here. So I better go make ready. To go. So we don't really need a double reef main, but oddly enough, last night in the middle of the night, I was messing with the Genoa and got it set. And then got back to the cockpit and heard a bang, and the blue first reef line had rubbed in two right at the clew. So I had to put the second reef in. I can't fix it underway here. So then it turned out that our 15 knots overnight turned into 24 knots overnight, so that was okay actually. We had a slow sail overnight, just the main, and it's not the best having this fold out on this side, but it's working. We've got about 32 miles to go to Horta, and keeping our eye out for the 7,000 foot peak of Monte de Pico, which we might be able to see at some point. It doesn't look foggy, but it's cloudy ahead. So that's kind of nice to be on the lookout for land. And we're just kind of trying to get there. Land ho, baby! Oh yeah! That is the island of Faial. Nice. "20 days. 10 miles to go." Well, we've got land. Beautiful green hills. Should be anchored in a couple hours. A bit rolly out here. Ready for some calm. Sailboats. See if we can find a parking spot. Arriving in Horta. sailed across the ocean. Anchored in Horta. Go check in. We're going to put some here on the wall on the inside there so we can leave the boat for a few days and go touring around. Fantastic. Great trip, 20 days. No main big problems, bunch of little problems. But hell yeah. Third time across the Atlantic. Good to be habit. Preparing for our traditional anchor dram. Nice malt whiskey here from Philip. Vast yeast smoky apricots. Whiskey Society cask number 4382.
Okay. Here's to us.
Sailors.
Yeah, salty.
Stinky. Mmm. Tasty.
What are you calling stinky?
I'm stinky.
Oh, that's good. You can smell the apricots actually up
Good.
front.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
So we're all checked in here at Horta and chillaxing in the anchorage. Pretty busy and a little bit of space. You can get off the boat easily, but very calm in here. What do you think, Helen? You ready to sail across the ocean again?
Oh, give me a break. I need a couple of days at least to recover.
Couple of days. Okay, so
We've got to stock the wine cabinet.
yeah, that's it. We stopped here for wine.
But yeah, no, I'll be ready to head off in another week. That's all
Okay.
it takes.
All right, a week. All right, over and out.